Okay, in this video, I have a big task. I'm gonna count down the top 100 Christmas movies of all time. There are some restrictions here. I'm only going to include movies that were made for the theater, for DVD, or for a streaming platform like Netflix or Amazon Prime. Why am I doing this? Because Lifetime and Hallmark have hundreds and hundreds of them. And I want to exclude those, only pinpoint movies that were geared for the theater or DVD or a streaming platform, because those often go to the theater as well. So I'm going to show you how I did that, how I came up with the list, how I determined what a Christmas movie is, how I determine, the movies that are obscure and what is a Christmas movie. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Answer that in this list, and I give you specifics as to how I came up with this. Let's take a look at this right here. What I did was I came up with a Christmas score, and this Christmas score determines whether or not this movie is going to be on this list to begin with. So what I did was I came up with this 4 criteria, and I gave points according to each of those criteria. Number 1, is Christmas in the movie, or is there a Christmas theme in the movie? I give an example with Harry Potter here. Harry Potter are Christmas themed movies. They have Christmas in the movie, but they have nothing to do with Christmas. So in that realm, I give it a point if it has Christmas in the theme. Then I say, is it a Christmas themed title? Because if a movie has a Christmas title, well then obviously it's probably going to be a Christmas movie. But there are some exceptions, like Reindeer Games. I give a point for that. And then I give a point for Christmas is factored into the plot. So the Christmas is just something that really is part of the movie and really makes it in terms of the storyline. So the more points you get at this, the more you get added to your overall score as I get into my other criteria. Lastly, number 4 is you want to watch this at Christmas time. That's 2 points. See, It's a Wonderful Life isn't really a Christmas movie. It doesn't have any of those criteria in it in terms of Christmas in the title or even around the theme, but you want to watch it around Christmas time. And there is a scene at the end, of course, around Christmas. So that's how I came up with it. That's my own invention. If you have something better, let me know. I'd be curious to know. Also, what I did was I weighted against other rankings. I didn't want to be the only person doing this. I didn't want to be a lone ranger in scoring this. I came up with 4 rankings that I found. One was IMDb, that's Internet Movie Database, Movie Phone, Rotten Tomatoes, and Vulture. And you see here, these 4 scores, I went through all of the lists that I came up with, I combined them, and then I made sure that the ones that were duplicate, I cut those out, and then I weighted those scores in there and said where they're ranked. And then what I did was, if they're top 10 rankings in any one of those lists, I gave an additional bonus on top of that. So I give a ranking bonus, meaning that this film here is in the top 10 4 times, so forth. So most films don't have that in that. And then I give that to a Christmas score. And then if you understand what I do with my other movie rankings in terms of my movie reviews, I'll leave a link right above on how I come up with that. That's the same score there. And then I weight that against the final average to get a final score. And then I sort it in reverse order. If there's a tiebreaker, I go back into my ranking, and I go back into the Christmas bonus and the Christmas score. And lastly, I go by the year. The older the movie is, the higher ranking, because I think older films should get the nod because they have more longevity and they're still being talked about after all these years. Then that's the tiebreaker in that. And for you parents out there, I do put the rating of the film right here as well, so you can know if you want to watch it with your family. So that's something that I think is important. And so with all that out of the way, let's kick back, relax, get you a favorite beverage, and let's watch top 100 Christmas movies that were not made for broadcast television. So to kick this list off, at number 100 from 2005, Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds and Amy Smart, about a guy who used to be overweight. He was friends with this girl in high school. He goes back to his hometown for Christmas. He sees her. She was his crush, and now he's trying to get himself out of the friend zone that she put him in way back when. It's a cute comedy. It's nothing new. It's nothing special, but I did find it pretty humorous. And the plot, which is what I gave an 8, which is why I think it merits being on this list. So at number 100, Just Friends from 2005. Coming in at number 99 is Meet Me in St. Louis, starring Judy Garland, whom I love, but this movie, not so much. It's on the list because it got a bonus because it's on several top 10s out there and other lists. But personally, I'm not a big fan of this film. It's a musical. It's okay. It's all right. But it is what it is. From 1944, Meet Me in St. Louis. 3 movies in, and if I had any credibility, it's probably all gone in your mind by now, because at number 98 is Richie Rich's Christmas Wish, which I admit is a guilty pleasure. It's got a lot of bad things about it. But I did find it charming, and I did give it a 2 for Christmas score out of 5. So it is merited to be on this list, but just barely. So from 1998, Richie Rich's Christmas Wish. So number 97 with Queen Latifah from 2006 is called Last Holiday. It's about a woman who feels she's going to die of cancer. A doctor gives her a bad analysis. She goes out, spends money to live it up, only to find love and other aspects of life that she didn't know existed prior to that. So it's decent. I gave it a 2 for Christmas score. And so you have Last Holiday from 2006 starring Queen Latifah at number 97. So 96, we have The Search for Santa Claus. It's about a dog, and they're looking for it. It's Santa Claus's dog. They gotta go find him. And if you notice, this film actually has a lower score than the film before it. However, the final score is bumped up because the Christmas score is higher. And since this is a Christmas list, that is the factor that I want you to pay attention to. Normally, this would be a worse movie, but because this is a Christmas list, that's what you got. So, for number 96, Search for Santa Claus. At number 95 from 1998, I'll Be Home for Christmas. This is another Disney film, and it's about a kid who's stranded in the desert with no money a few days before Christmas, hence the title of the film. It's charming, and it's from the 90s, which makes it even more charming. So at number 95, I'll Be Home for Christmas. So from 1986, we have Babes in Toyland, starring Drew Barrymore and Keanu Reeves. That's right, Keanu Reeves stars in this classic tale, Babes in Toyland, 1986. It's cheesy, but hey, when you have those two in the movie, you gotta put this on the list. So at number 94, you have Babes in Toyland, 1986. From 1940, we have a movie that's pretty creepy, I must say. It's called Beyond Tomorrow, and it's at number 93. And I tell you, it's interesting. It's about 3 industrialists who die in a plane crash, and they come back as ghosts to help a couple save their marriage and their relationship. It's pretty weird. It's eerie, but it is interesting. And I found that the timing of that era with industrialism and the Great Depression ties really into the theme of this. And Christmas is a main part of this in terms of getting these people to come back together. Very fascinating. I recommend you checking it out. So 93, Beyond Tomorrow from 1940. So number 92, you have 4 Christmases with Reese Witherspoon and Vince Vaughn. It's about a couple trying to go through the in-laws and the parents' Christmases, and it's all different. And the cast is incredible. And the Christmas score is 3. And I didn't really care for the movie that much, but the intangibles of 8 and the Christmas score of 3 definitely put this on the list. And it did have some redeeming values to it. So I do sort of recommend this one. So number 91, we have from 2019. It's called Let It Snow. It's about a rapper or singer who's trying to get away from the hustle and bustle and the celebrity nature that he is and just live a normal life. And it's him reacting with a woman that he met and their friends and just trying to live a normal life and be accepted as a regular person and not as a rapper or a big time singer. And it's really, really good. I like the ending of it. It's nice and it's realistic in terms of not everyone gets together the way you think they should in these movies. So it doesn't dumb it down to the audience. So I do appreciate that about this film. So number 90, we have a film called Jack Frost. It's from 1998. It stars Michael Keaton, about a musician who goes off. He's not really a good dad because he's never around that much, but he dies in a car accident, and he comes back as a snowman, trying to redeem and restore a relationship with his younger son. Yeah, it's depressing and it's sad, and so it's okay. Anyway, at number 90, Jack Frost. Number 89, we have The Lemon Drop Kid, starring Bob Hope. And it's about a guy who's a scam artist who owes money to some gangsters. And so he tries to scam really nice families. And of course, he has to, not do that for him to be sort of the hero at the end of the film. So it's worth watching. It's from 1951, Lemon Drop Kid at number 89. At number 89, we have a film from 1947 called It Happened on Fifth Avenue. It's about two homeless guys who break into an industrialist mansion and live there. And it tells a lot about the time or how people thought about the rich and the poor and the common man during the Great Depression. And so it tells a lot there, and it's worth watching just for that perspective alone. So 1947 at number 88, It Happened on Fifth Avenue. All right, now coming in at number 87, it's a Tim Burton film starring Johnny Depp. It's called Edward Scissorhands, and it came in at 1990. The film of a guy who has hands that are scissors, and he's living life by himself, and he meets a girl, and you can pretty much figure out the rest. It's a good film. It's a classic. So at number 87, Edward Scissorhands. Coming in at number 86 is Christmas Eve, starring Patrick Stewart. It's an interesting film. It's about 6 elevators being stuck in New York City on Christmas Eve. And as you can imagine, each elevator has its own challenges. Some is depressing, some is sad, some is funny, and some is terrifying. And it's interesting. So I think you should check it out just for that. It's 2015's version of Christmas Eve at number 86. So number 85, we have Un Conte de Noël, or A Christmas Tale. It's a French film about a family who comes together to help one of the members who's suffering from leukemia and a blood transfusion. So as you can imagine, this is an emotional film. I gave it high marks on emotional impact and on story. So from 2008, check it out if you like. If you like dramas, this is for you. It's called Un Conte de Noël, A Christmas Tale. At number 84, we have Serendipity, starring John Cusack. It's a romantic comedy, romance, whatever. And it's about serendipity, about being together and belonging together and trusting that if you're meant to be, you'll be together. And I thought the film was really good. I saw it like last year, and I gave it an 8 for story. It does have Christmas elements to it. And if you like romances, this is for you, man. This is definitely for you. So at number 84, Serendipity from the year 2001. At number 83, we had The Disappearance of Haruhi Soramiya. This is a Japanese anime film, and this one's pretty trippy. It's about some friends who get together, they plan a Christmas party, and something happens. One of the friends disappears, and no one knows what the deal is. And it goes into some really sci-fi types of elements. And so this film, you gotta stick with it. But if you like anime, you like suspense, you like mystery, this film is for you. Number 83, The Disappearance of Haruhi Soramiya. At number 82 from 1948, Three Godfathers, starring John Wayne. I mean, come on, that's going to be intangible of at least 9, which is where I have it. This is a story that parallels the nativity story, the 3 wise men, the 3 Godfathers. Involves a baby, 3 men and a little lady comes to mind, but this is about John Wayne protecting a child and basically keeping the promise of a dying mother. I'll leave it at that. It's John Wayne, it's a Western, it's cool. So at number 82, 3 Godfathers. Okay, 81, we have The Ice Harvest, starring John Cusack and Billy Bob Thornton. Movie's from 2005. It's an R-rated film, and it is insane. It's crazy. It's a lot of fun to watch, and it's very surprising ending of it. It's got a 9 for the story for a reason, so check this film out. Just hide the kids. At number 81, The Ice Harvest. Okay, number 80, we have One Magic Christmas, another Disney film about a woman who's trying to live her life with her family. Things aren't the way she wants them to be. An angel comes and tries to show her the meaning of life and to put things into its proper perspective. It's got a dark tone for a G-rated film, but I find this film to be really, really good. And it comes at us at number 80. It's from 1985, called One Magic Christmas. So at number 79, we have How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey. It's from 2000. It gives the backstory of the Grinch based, of course, on the Dr. Seuss book. I thought it was fairly well done. So yeah, check this out if you haven't already seen it. But it's number 79. It's called How the Grinch Stole Christmas from 2000. Okay, we're at number 78, but let me take a quick second here to address this list. You see here, it's number 78, I have The Grinch, and number 79 was How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And I'm telling you right now, I did not do that. It was all in the numbers. So it literally fell this way. And the scores are exactly the same at 12.25. Tiebreaker goes to this one for watchability and my score and the Christmas score. So I'm gonna leave it at that. This was actually a cute movie. I thought it was more enjoyable to watch, which is why I think it's at a good place right here at number 78. 78, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. So number 77, from the year 2017, we have Man Who Invented Christmas. And for you Downton Abbey fans, man who played Matthew is playing Charles Dickens. And this movie, I enjoyed it immensely because of its historical nature and learning about the person who came up with the story of A Christmas Carol and what happened in his life and what was going on in his life up to that point, who was pulling at him, what he was doing, and how he was getting his money, and what his wife and other things were going on, his love for Christmas, all put in this movie. And I think it's really, really good for people who want to know more about Charles Dickens, this genius of a guy who came up with one of my favorite stories, A Christmas Carol. This is number 77, Man Who Invented Christmas. I love this so much. Number 76, Rocky IV. I saw this actually on a Christmas list movie on Wikipedia. So, hey, it's got to be on this list, baby. Rocky IV is probably one of the most entertaining of all the Rocky films. It's not the best one. I think the first one's the best one. But Rocky IV is just non-stop adrenaline, 80s. I mean, it's just a mad dash to the end, and I love it. So, Rocky IV, it happens on Christmas, and of course, you know the story. But, hey, check it out. I have watchability as a 9 on this bad boy. So, from 1985, Rocky IV. So here's a heavy-hitting drama from 2005 called The Family Stone. Got a wonderful cast. The screenplay is excellent. I really got tied into these people and the motivations. And let me just tell you who's in this film. It's really, really good cast. Dermot Mulroney, Sarah Jessica Parker, Diane Keaton, Craig T. Nelson, Claire Danes, Luke Wilson, and they play off so well off each other, and it's just a really, really good screenplay, and the motivation, again, is really, really powerful. So, The Family Stone from 2005, number 75 on our list. Coming to us at number 74 is called Deck the Halls. It's from 2006. It stars Matthew Broderick and Daniel DeVito. About a guy, Daniel DeVito, who is new to a neighborhood, who's a car salesman and wants to do things super extraordinary. And Matthew Broderick, who doesn't? He's very traditional. And Daniel DeVito wants his house Christmas lights to be seen from space. And of course, insanity ensues. The movie's fun. I had a lot of fun in this one. And it stars, again, Matthew Broderick and Daniel DeVito at number 74, called Deck the Halls. Here's that film I was telling you about before that could be considered a horror. It's number 73 on our list from 1984. It's called Gremlins, starring Phoebe Cates. And this film is a classic in many ways. It's truly a Christmas film because Christmas theme is all throughout the film. It's fun. Just don't feed these critters after midnight. So at number 72, we have The Bishop's Wife. Year is 1947. It stars Cary Grant as an angel who's coming down to help a preacher raise money for his church and also help him with his wife relationship-wise. And so it's a really classic film. It's awesome. It's the original. We'll see something similar later on in this list, but for now, 72, The Bishop's Wife. So number 71 is called White Reindeer. It's from 2013. It's an art house film, which is going to be unrated, but it's definitely an R with serious adult themes. It's about a woman who encounters a tragedy and her life just goes spiraling down. Lots of warnings to the rest of us, but this film, powerful, 71, 2013, is called White Reindeer. At number 70, from 1939, we have a short film called Peace on Earth. A cartoon about some squirrels being told a story from Grandpa about how the last war on the Earth with humans took place and what happened afterward. It's a dystopian type future. It's interesting with ominous undertone. So, number 70, Peace on Earth from 1939. Number 71 comes to us from 1991. It's called All I Want for Christmas. And basically think of it as the parent trap with Santa Claus. They want Santa Claus to help get their parents back together again. Charming film, 1991, All I Want for Christmas. So for number 68, the film we have is called Happy Christmas. It's from 2014. It's about the Western Front, World War I, a truce to happen unofficially on the battlefield where the Germans and the Americans were able to see each other's way of life. It's a powerful film. It's a war film. We've seen others like this, but this one is very well done as well. So it's called Happy Christmas from 2014, and it's number 68. Number 67 comes to us from 1934, stars Laurel and Hardy. It's called March of the Wooden Soldiers. It's basically Babes in Toyland, but more of an older version of it, obviously, and it's very, very well done. I'm not a big fan of the story of Babes in Toyland with the marching soldiers, all that stuff, but the special effects going back to 1934 was pretty impressive, so it's on this list for that reason. Number 67, March of the Wooden Soldiers. Number 66 on the list brings us Remember the Night from 1940, starring Barbara Stanwyck and Fred McMurray. Films about a lawyer who catches a shoplifter and brings her home, and of course, romance ensues. Spoiler alert. The movie's fantastic. It's just great acting. It's just so much class in this, and I just can't recommend it enough. It's from 1940, called Remember the Night, and it sits at number 66 on our list. So for number 65, we have from 2006, Holiday, starring Jude Law, Cameron Diaz, Kate Winslet, and Jack Black. It's relationships, it's a rom-com, it's a drama, it's a bunch of things. It can get on your nerves, I get that. But the cast alone and the story, for me, means it's on this list at the level it is, which is 65, and that's The Holiday from 2006. Number 64 brings us from 1996, Preacher's Wife, which is a remake of The Bishop's Wife, which we just talked about. This time it stars Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston, and the premise of this is an angel comes down to allow a pastor to recognize what's really there in front of him and what he could lose if he doesn't be careful. So Preacher's Wife is good, great music, and that's why to me it's a notch up above The Bishop's Wife. Fantastic. So at number 63, we have a fun film called Holiday Affair. It's from 1949. It stars Robert Mitchum, Janet Leigh. But let me tell you something about Robert Mitchum. You want to learn how to be cool, watch his character in this movie, especially the last scene. It's out of control. Awesome. So yeah, number 63, Holiday Affair. It's incredible and comes to us from 1949. So at number 62, we have While You Were Sleeping. It's from 1995. It stars Sandra Bullock. She plays a woman who works at a train station and someone has an accident. She jumps in to rescue. They think they're in love, engaged, whatever you have. And she slowly finds that that person may not be the person that she thought he was all along. I'll leave it there. It's a fun film. It's a powerful film with a lot of good lessons here as well. And Sandra Bullock is just incredible in this role. She's just so likable. So number 62, While You Were Sleeping. Number 61, it's a Disney film. It's called Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. It's a collection of short stories, each with a lesson that kids can learn. It's also very enjoyable. The animation's good. Of course, it's Mickey Mouse. So there are several of these, but this is the best one of this particular Once Upon series Christmas that Disney has put out. So at number 61, Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Well, number 60, we have a 90s commercialism extravaganza called Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and a young Anakin Skywalker, aka Jake Lloyd. This is a story about how you will do whatever it takes to get the hot gift for Christmas, no matter what. And it's a fun film, and it's high up this list because of its Christmas score. This is a Christmas movie on nitroglycerin. So Jingle All the Way at number 60. 1945 brings us our number 59 film. It's called Star in the Night. It's a trope on the nativity story. We have three cowboys, which are basically wise men, seeing a star, going to it. Of course, that star is over an inn, which that inn is over an innkeeper, where there's no room for the inn, and you get the rest of the story. But it's a total parallel to the nativity story, and the end is very touching. It's a short film. It's only about 22 minutes long, and definitely worth checking out. So at number 59, Star in the Night from 1945. Number 59 is Jingle Jango, A Christmas Journey from 2020. And this was on Netflix. And this is a fun film which had a lot of stuff going on. Got Forrest Whitaker and a bunch of people in this cast. And there's so much stuff going on in this film. Got music and theatrics and decent acting. And it's too much to ignore. In terms of what I liked, it was the story and the intangibles, which to me were fabulous. So 58 is Jingle Jango, A Christmas Journey from 2020. So number 57, we have a film called Trapped in Paradise. It stars Nicolas Cage, Dana Carvey, and John Lovitz. It's about some guys trying to stop a bank robber, and it's a lot of comedy of errors in this film. It's really enjoyable and fun. The story will surprise you. The Christmas score obviously is high because this is a Christmas-themed movie through and through. So at number 57, it's going to be Trapped in Paradise from 1994. So that brings us to our next horror film on this list. That's going to be number 56, called Black Christmas. It's been remade a couple times, but this one is the original. So I'm not going to tell you anything else about it. Check it out for yourself if you dare. It's number 56 from 1974, called Black Christmas. So number 55 on our list is called Noel. This is a drama starring Paul Walker and Susan Sarandon and three other New Yorkers who are coming together looking for a miracle. Susan Sarandon's mother has Alzheimer's and she's dealing with that. There's just a lot of interpersonal issues, tragedies that are going on. And it's just life. And that's one thing I like about these kind of films, that it does bring you back into focus of what really is important in life. So this film definitely does that. It's called Noel. It's from 2004 and it's number 5 on our list. So number 54 comes to us from 1994, starring Dennis Leary. It's called The Ref. You have a burglar who breaks into a house and he has to run referee for a bickering married couple. And it's just insane what goes on in this particular film. A bunch of things that happen that you just need to see for yourself. It's hilarious. It's fun to watch. And they end up taking up for him in the end. So it's a spoiler, but you probably got that already. So number 54 is called The Ref, and it comes to us from the year 1990. Number 53 on the list is called The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. It's from 2018, and this film is very theatrical, has a lot of special effects, brings the story of the Nutcracker up to modern day, and it takes it in a way that we hadn't seen before. And I'm not really a Nutcracker story person, but I did enjoy this one. It takes it, like I said, in a whole nother direction. Lots of action and adventure. And so, yeah, this is a very well made film. And so, yeah, it sits here at number 53 from 2018, Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Coming to us at number 52 is a film from 1901 called Christmas Dream. It's a short film about 4 minutes long, and it's a Christmas time film which covers, well, it's 4 minutes, so if I told you anything about it, you know the whole thing. But the special effects are interesting to watch. Historical landmark piece that is over 121 years old. Incredible. Check this out. It's called The Christmas. We'll talk about a fun film. Let's talk about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang at number 51 from 2005. This is an action, adventure, comedy. It's all over the place around the Christmas holiday. And again, you cannot predict this film at all. And I recommend this film just to go see it, because I was having a great time watching this. I laughed hysterically, especially one scene I'm thinking about right now. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005 is at number 51. Go check it out. At number 50, we have Almost Christmas with a huge cast. And I wasn't sure if I was going to like this film, but I did. It was very good. And it's one of these family drama things where every family member has an issue against another issue. You can have issues going way back with backstories. It's just, this is a trope that's been going on for ages. However, this works, and it's very powerful, and it's very awkward at one particular scene toward the end. You're just going to be cringing in your seat when you watch it, but it's a good time though. So yeah, Almost Christmas from 2016 at number 50. So at number 49, we had the movie called Carol, starring Cate Blanchett, and it is from 2015. This particular film, actually, of the 4 independent lists that I had collected, this is in the top 10 on 2 of those lists, giving it that rank bonus. Plus, I have it as an 8 for story and 9 for intangibles, because of the cast and just the settings and the costumes and everything. It's just a beautiful piece to watch. Very well made and very well acted. So this movie is called Carol at number 49 from the year 2015. Okay, here's another fun film, and it's number 48 called Get Santa. And all you need to know about this one is a jailbreak from Santa Claus. He's flying around, he crash lands, he gets put in jail, and now a dad who is a getaway driver on parole has to go rescue Santa Claus and save Christmas. Very charming. It's a British film. It's just so much fun to watch this film. And I have it pretty high up on the intangibles and the emotional impact, because I was laughing the whole time. Dialogue is great in this. So at number 48, Get Santa from the year 2014. So at number 47, we have Best Man Holiday, which is actually a sequel from The Best Man, which I never saw, which is not a problem because they take the first few minutes to bring you up to speed on the relationships and where they left off. This film, much like Almost Christmas, is interpersonal relationships and getting through those, and hard-hitting issues that are very difficult to deal with, and how these people who have been best friends for a long time actually deal with this. And of course, there's a tragedy involved in this and how they deal with that as well. So this is from 2013. It's called The Best Man Holiday, and I really like this film, so I think you will too. Number 46 is Christmas with the Cranks from 2004, starring Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis. They're trying to skip Christmas from the neighborhood tradition of having lights and snowmen on the roof, and they want to just go and take a cruise for once. But things happen, of course. Their daughter's coming back to town, so they have to figure things out and ramp it up at the last minute. It's crazy. Tim Allen is awesome. It's just funny. I like him in Christmas movies. He does a really, really good job in general. But yeah, this movie is fun, and it's just quirky, and you can sit back and you can understand that there are messages behind this, that it's not just yourself sometimes. There's other people that are involved as well that we have to consider around Christmas time. So with that, number 46, Christmas with the Cranks. Coming to us at number 45, we have Little Women, the 1994 version. And this cast of characters in this film is spectacular. You have Winona Ryder, you have Gabrielle Byrne, you have Kirsten Dunst, you have Claire Danes, you have Christian Bale, Eric Stoltz, and Susan Sarandon, Matthew Walker. The cast is phenomenal. This is based on the book by Louisa May Alcott, and if you haven't read the book or seen the movie, check it out for yourself. This particular version has a lot of Christmas themes in it, and it's just phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but there's another version of this that we'll see a little bit later that's even a little bit better. So number 44 is Little Women, 2019 version. And I thought it would be a little bit later, but no, I'm talking about it right now. So I have a full review of this. I'll leave a link below on that because this was nominated for Best Picture 2019. So I'll leave it there and we'll move on to the next film. Number 43, we have Black Nativity, based on the book by Langston Hughes. And when I was in college, we would go to this at my HBCU. They would play it every Christmas. And this particular film, I didn't think I would like it because it got the impression of the gang-banging thing, victimization thing in the very beginning. But they kind of tie it back and give full solutions of what's going on in the urban community, how to fix the problem that's going on. And it's really, really good. And I really felt that this was a really important film that should be seen by many people across the country, especially today. So at number 43, we have Black Nativity from 2013. So number 42, we have The Nativity Story. This is from 2005. It's the real world account of Mary and Joseph traveling across the desert to Bethlehem to have the Christ child in a manger, and the whole backstory behind that and what it took to get a pregnant woman across the desert and have to deal with all that, not to mention the stress, not to mention Joseph not knowing initially that his wife was still a virgin. So a lot of stuff here, and I think it's really good to see this in a real world scenario because people forget that this actually happened. And so me, I thought this was great, and I think it's fantastic for people to see this, and it also reminds us of what Christmas is all about. So at number 42, The Nativity Story. So number 41, from the year 2004, we have a movie called Surviving Christmas. It stars Ben Affleck and James Gandolfini, Mr. Tony Soprano himself. This film is about a spoiled rich guy, Ben Affleck, who doesn't have a family. He's self-centered and he wants to basically pay for a family. And you get to see how that turns out. And there are some serious awkward moments here as well. I enjoyed this film, and I think you will too. It's very, very funny and just shows you how I have to say, talented Ben Affleck can be in these kind of roles. So that being said, this is Surviving Christmas at number 41. Ranking the top 40, we have The Santa Claus 2. This is with Tim Allen, and it's the sequel to The Santa Claus, which we'll see a little bit later. Film, not as good as the original, but I still very much enjoy it. Just don't see the third one. Number 40, Santa Claus 2. Coming to us at number 39 is Trading Places from the year 1983. It stars Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd and Jamie Lee Curtis, where you have Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd trading places to see what would happen if they change environments. Some criminals, would they be successful? Who knows? But it's an old movie, so you probably do know. It's a classic around the Christmas time. I love it. You get to learn about commodities trading and pork bellies. Yep. At number 39, Trading Places. At 38, we have a critically acclaimed film called Klaus. It came out 2019 on Netflix, and it's the story of St. Nicholas and how we got his start. And it's a really, really good animated film, and it's through the eyes of a messenger, of a person who's trying to deliver messages. And it's a slow burn. It takes a while to get to where it's got to go, but by the middle of the second act, you're kind of on board. But be patient with it. It does pay off at the end. This is Klaus from 2019, and it sits at number 38. At number 37 is Mickey's Christmas Carol, and this is one of the best ones ever put on film, even though it is a cartoon. A couple more Christmas Carol versions coming up, and you'd be surprised. There's not that many theatrical Christmas carols out there, and there's only like 3 on this list. So I've seen them all. But this is Mickey's Christmas Carol, and it's short, but it's from 1983, and it's a little spooky too, but it's okay for kids. But at number 37, Mickey's Christmas Carol. So at number 36, we have Hula Taurina, or Christmas Story. This is a Finnish film. It's about the origins of Santa Claus, how he got his start. It's not really spoiling anything because the poster kind of gives that away. But this film, if I were to recommend one film on the list that no one had ever heard of, I'd recommend you checking this one out because this one is special. Check this out. It's called Hula Taurina, or Christmas Story. It's at number 36. It's from the year 2007. So at 35, we have a movie called Nativity. This is an English film. It's about a guy, a teacher, who accidentally promises, well, actually he gets caught in the web of lies, to his class that he's going to be able to get a Hollywood producer, which is his ex-girlfriend, to come out from LA, Hollywood, to produce their local elementary school nativity play. And of course, he has to figure out how to pull that one off. And so it's just incredible to watch this thing go down. Anyway, at number 35, Nativity from 2009. Lots of fun. Check it out. Okay, at number 34, we had the movie called Prancer. It's about a little girl who finds Prancer, the reindeer, and her trying to get her dad, her community, her doctor, anyone who will listen, to help her get Prancer home. And this is a film about a little girl's determination and a dad's love for his daughter and trying to protect her from the bad of the world. And Sam Elliott plays the dad, and he just does a tremendous job. He's forceful, but he's loving, and her pushback against him and the doctors and so forth. And it's really, really a good story. And I saw this recently and was really surprised at how well put together this film is. And so that's why it sits at number 34. Prancer is from 1989. So at number 33, we have a movie that was direct to streaming. It's called Love Hard. And it's a clever film. I love the screenplay. I love the score, the soundtrack. I love almost everything about this film. I love how it takes you one way and then totally flips the script on you. And I love how it's not pretentious. I love how it doesn't make you think for you. It lets you think for yourself and lets you come up to your own conclusion. I think that's very, very good to have, especially in a modern film. We see a lot of times the director just wants to tell you what to think and how to think. This doesn't do that, okay? It's really, really clever. Again, I just like this film very much. I think it's a classic. We shall see if that's the case. Love Hard is something I definitely recommend checking out. It's number 33 on our list, and it's from 2021. At number 32, we have Ernest Saves Christmas. When I first saw this film when I was younger, I just couldn't stop laughing. Ernest was hugely popular back in the day. Jim Varney. And I tell you, it still holds up. I mean, because it's just so ridiculous and it's just so hilarious and funny. And it's something you can just put your brain off to the side and just sit back for an hour and a half and enjoy this film. And especially if you like this kind of humor. So Ernest Saves Christmas at number 32 from 1988. So for number 31, we have a movie called The Star. It's a nativity-based movie based around the animals of the nativity. And it's their story, animated, of course. And we enjoyed this as a family to watch this. We probably watch this every year because it's something you can talk about and get you thinking again of what the real meaning of Christmas is truly about. So this came out in 2017. It's called The Star and it sits at number 31. At number 31, we have The Family Man with Don Cheadle and Nicolas Cage. And it's a film that it's a sort of It's a Wonderful Life type what if scenario where you have a rich guy who is now a family man, and which is better. The film doesn't try to answer that for you, but it does show that there are more things to life than just being single and being wealthy, but it doesn't make a value judgment on either one of those. But I like this film because Nicolas Cage is just so perfect in this role, and Don Cheadle as the angel is also pretty funny as well. So yeah, The Family Man. I watch this just about every other year, and it's from 2000, and it's at number 30. No, it's not as good as the first film, but the first film is so good that even if you're close, this is going to be a good film as well. and that's why it's sitting at 29. Home Alone 2 on our list from 1992. Kevin's back and the bad guys are back, but they're in New York and the hits are much harder in this one. Way more violent, but to me, in a lot of ways, just as funny. So Home Alone 2 is on our list at number 29. If you haven't seen it by now, see it definitely because it's pretty awesome. But watch the first one first if you haven't seen that one. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. At number 28, we have The Polar Express. It's a film based on the book of the same name about a kid who doesn't know what he believes, and he goes on a train with other kids to meet Santa Claus. And it's an adventure. It takes you through behind the scenes. It's a musical in some sorts, and it has really good technology that still holds up today. And I think your kids will love it. My kids watch it every year, and it's frankly a no-brainer every single holiday season. So The Polar Express, we have it here at 28, and it's from the year 2004. Last Christmas is a film that came out recently, actually 2019. It's based on the song by George Michael, inspired by the song by George Michael, and you hear the song by George Michael a bunch in this movie, and that's not a bad thing. This film was, to me, remarkable, and I would just leave it there. The less you know going into this film, the better. Rom-com, and it's well acted, and I already told you about the score. So Last Christmas at number 27 from the year 2019. So now we're getting into films that I pretty much watch every single year, and sitting at number 26, Christmas in Connecticut is no exception. This is a film starring Barbara Stanwyck. She's playing a food writer who lies to her employer saying that she's a great housewife, and then she has to fake it when they invite themselves and war veteran to her house, and she's got to figure out how to do all that. It's funny. It's hilarity. And so, yeah, these kind of films are great. Christmas in Connecticut from 1945 at number 26. Number 25 is Santa's Apprentice. This film is a film animated about Santa Claus trying to retire, and he's trying to find candidates to do that. And in doing so, he finds somebody who isn't really ready for the job, and he just lets him have it. And he gets into trouble, and he has to be bailed out. And the important thing about this film really is about being a leader and understanding that responsibilities are very, very important. You must take them very, very seriously. And that's what this kid has to learn, becoming Santa's apprentice, being the next Santa Claus. So 25, Santa's Apprentice. It's a very, very fun movie. It's very, very enjoyable, and it's very funny. It's from 2010. Number 24 is The Santa Claus, the original, and this one's a good one. Tim Allen is amazing. Watched this film for a long time. It's been out since 1994. It never gets old. It's just an original concept. It's just amazing. It's about a guy who takes the reins of Santa Claus because Santa Claus fell off a roof. And from there, he's trying to get with his estranged son, and it just goes from there. It's a really, really good film. If you haven't seen it, new generation, check this film out. It's called The Santa Claus. And by the way, check out part 2 as well. Don't check out part 3. That's horrible. Number 23, we have an interesting film named Fat Man, which is starring Mel Gibson. It's about a kid who gets mad at Santa Claus and tries to murder him. And so this film is a black comedy, and Mel Gibson isn't having any of it. And this film isn't R, so be careful about that. But it's interesting to watch, to see Mel Gibson just do what Mel Gibson does. Just he's doing it with a little bit extra poundage and a little bit extra, magic maybe. So with that, Fat Man came out in 2020. It's number 23 on our list. And I found it very interesting and shocking in very, very many ways. So check it out. Coming to us at number 22 is a very sweet and very somber and very heart-wrenching film called Lovely Still. And I'm going to leave it right there. And I don't want to spoil anything for you from that. But watch this film. It's really amazing the way it's done. It stars Walter Matthau, and I can't say enough about this film. This film left my jaw on the ground. It's called Lovely Still again, and it's number 22 from 2008. From 2003, we have number 21 on our list. That is Bad Santa, starring Billy Bob Thornton. I took a long time watching this film because I assumed it was something else, but it really wasn't. Yes, it's an R-rated film. Yes, it's crass and all that, but it has something to say, and the guy has heart, and he follows all of the anti-hero tropes that we've seen in Hollywood, and they do it with perfection. So for that reason, Bad Santa is definitely worth watching if you have your kids tucked away. At 21 from 2003, Bad Santa. Next film we have up is called Love Actually at number 20. This film is something that I caught on to about 4 years ago, and it's just absolutely fantastic. What it does is it takes about 6 or 7 relationships, and it follows you through those relationships and how they are structured and the challenges there and other things, and just about love. And it doesn't make any pretense on any of it. And it just shows you that we are humans and we want that companionship, and that's really all it is. And these stories, these narratives, these people we follow, it's just fantastic because we totally buy in to each and every one of them. Love Actually is a film that's about Christmas, but centered around the theme of love in all those different forms. So at number 20, Love Actually. At number 19, we have Miracle on 34th Street, the 1994 edition, which I feel is a very, very good version of the original, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But this one stars Richard Attenborough, and the little girl is actually Ben Shapiro's niece, if you can believe that. But she's adorable in this as well. It's more modern, it's more colorful, and it's the same premise. And they use a different way to resolve it at the end than the original, but it still plays the same. And I think it's good for all audiences. And I don't think it detracts from the original at all. So 1994's version of Miracle on 34th Street sits at number 19. Number 18 is The Shop Around the Corner, starring Margaret Sullivan and a young Jimmy Stewart, about 2 pen pals who are employees. They're writing to each other and they don't know it, and they're falling in love with each other. Only in Hollywood, right? Yes, this is from 1940. Fantastic film. You know, these old films are just fantastic, and I watch this film just about every other year. And so at number 18, The Shop Around the Corner from 1940. A little transparency on this one. I had made a mistake. I voted this one late, and it should be probably higher on this list, but I had to make it fit so that it could fit within, because I had to take something off this list so that it could be in. That's Christmas Vacation. That is at number 17. Again, probably should be a little higher. The reason why I did this was because I just saw this film last night and I didn't score it. So when I did my database, it never was included. So by the time I got to number 5, I realized, hey, it's not in here. So I had to make way for it. So I'd rather put it in here in the wrong spot, close to the top, than not at all. Anyway, that being said, I did see it last night. Very good movie, very funny, hysterical in points, a little dated in some areas, but it's still a classic. I can see why it's still a classic, because this is a guy who's just trying to have a good Christmas, and things are happening, in-laws are happening. He's trying to keep a good spirit, but at the end of the day, he's just trying to get by the best he can. So Christmas Vacation, it was fantastic. And so you see my scores here. Probably should be a little higher, but at number 17 for now, Christmas Vacation, 1984. And so number 16 is The Sound of Music. And what more can be said about this film? In my opinion, it's one of the top 5 movies of all time, greatest. So it's obviously going to be one of the greatest Christmas movies of all time if it qualifies. And I think it does. And so I'm not going to say anything more about this movie. You got to see the scores ahead of me right there. And the reason why it's so low is because the Christmas score is only 1, because it has that one song that's identified with Christmas and a scene or 2 that's in the movie revolving Christmas, but not quite enough to make it a bona fide Christmas movie. But nonetheless, it's fantastic. At number 15, we have Irving Berlin's Holiday Inn. This is the original when we first heard White Christmas with Bing Crosby. It's from 1942. We'll cover White Christmas in a little bit later, but that's a different movie altogether. Even though people think it's a sequel, it's actually not. So Holiday Inn is a classic film that we watch pretty much every other year, and it's synonymous with Christmas. And it's from 1942, and it sits at number 15 on our list. So at number 14 sits our number 2 Tim Burton film on our list, and that is The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I'm kind of surprised it's as high as it is, but when you factor in my ranking as well as the bonuses it gets from the being in the top 10 of 2 lists and the Christmas score of being a 4, then there you go. That brings it way up, and that's why it's as high as it is. It's a heartwarming film. It deserves to be here. And I actually liked it. I watched it about a month ago just to make sure. And so, yeah, at number 14, we have Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 13 on our list is Author Christmas. And this film, I would never have guessed in a million years that when I first saw this, it would be this good. It is amazing. It's from 2011, and it deals with Arthur, who's the son of Santa Claus, and he's just like a bookkeeper, and he identifies a package that didn't get delivered, and so he goes on an adventure to make sure that package gets delivered. And the operation in this, the scope of it, is just so fun to watch, and the way they interpret Santa Claus and his operation is so corporate America. It's just fantastic. Anyway, Author Christmas is a heartwarming film. It's I can't say. I mean, it's just great. So check it out if you haven't seen it. 2011, number 13 on our list, Author Christmas. Okay, time to get serious because with this film, it's pretty hard hitting. It's called Nothing Like the Holidays. It's number 12. This movie came out in 2008. It's about a Hispanic family in Chicago who are tight-knit, but somehow this could be their last Christmas together as a family. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't get emotional on this film, then you may not have a pulse. This is a really, really, really good film. And it's, again, with families, just like the other films we talked about before. There are secrets, there's hidden agendas, there's doubt, there's resentment, there's anger. It is something that has to come out, and typically Christmas is the time when people are together, where they can let those emotions out. And there's a lot to be said here, and a lot of hurt feelings, and a lot of pain to be put on display in this film. But buckle up, but this film is absolutely fantastic. It's called Nothing Like the Holidays, and it is at number 12. At number 11, we have something from 1913. Yeah, I said that right. 1913. It's at number 11. It's called The Insect's Christmas. It's about insects having Christmas, and it's a stop motion production. It is incredible. You won't believe that they were able to do this that long ago. So I'll leave it at that. It's short. You can check it out. It's on YouTube. It's called The Insect's Christmas at number 11 from 1913. Okay, now on to the top 10. And I can't think of a better film to kick it off than White Christmas with Bing Crosby from 1954. This film is more powerful than Holiday Inn because it's after the war. And they particularly want to pay homage to our veterans. And that's what this is about. It's looking after a former commander, making sure that he's taken care of and is in Vermont. So this film is really, really incredible. It's got a nice emotional pull at the end. So White Christmas, again, they sing the song, but I think they sing it better in Holiday Inn. But they sing it here a couple times in this film. And it's great. Bing Crosby, you can't get any better than that. 1954, number 10, White Christmas. All right, number 9 is Miracle on 34th Street, the 1947 edition. Not much more to say about this, but you can look at the scores and why it's more. It's because the rank bonus and the Christmas score, it's at a 4 and a 4 there, and it just takes it over the top. And so the original is good, but I personally like the 1994 version just a little bit better because it's more modern, but they're both fantastic. So Miracle on 34th Street, number 9, a true American classic. Number 8, one of my most favorite actors, Bill Murray in Scrooged from 1988. This is one of my wife's favorite films. And I saw it, well, I won't tell you when I first saw it. However, I like this movie more and more each year because it's so sarcastic and it's so over the top, hilarious. It's just irresistible, 100%. And Bill Murray is at the height of his powers. Scrooge is just fantastic. And I just can't get enough of him and his humor. So, number 8, Scrooge from 1988. Oh, by the way, it's a Christmas Carol take, if you didn't know that already. Number 7, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. This is from 1951, and it's arguably the best. It's definitely probably the most accurate to the book. I actually read the book after watching the film just to see what they missed or didn't miss. And this is spot on. It's creepy, it's black and white, it just has that whole, Victorian vibe. So yeah, it's a classic story. I know people don't like it, they get tired of it, but I can't get enough of these versions. So yeah, Christmas Carol from 1951, number 7 all time on my list. One thing I love more than the Christmas Carol is the classic Muppets, and putting them together is just, it's just like awesome, right? Well, the Muppet Christmas Carol is probably the best version across the board, but traditionalists won't like that. However, it's very accurate to the original source material. And I will say this, that right after Jim Henson died, this is the first film that his production company, his son, made, and they did a fantastic job. Now, as far as this particular version, I include the version that has the omitted scene called When Love Is Gone. When that's added to the film, it's so much better of a movie. You can't find that rendition anymore. You have to go to the old VHS tapes. But that version is what I consider the greater version. But if you buy the one that doesn't have that, it's still okay. But that to me adds more to the movie all in all. But number 6, Muppet Christmas Carol is just, it's just the real deal, dude. At number 5 from 2003 is the classic Elf, starring Will Ferrell and James Caan and Bob Newhart. This film is, well, it's Elf, man. It's hysterical. The only issue with Elf is that it does crumble under its own weight in the third act, but it's so strong in those first two that it just carries it all the way through. So Elf is a classic. I mean, the snowball fight to me is the pinnacle point in Christmas movie history. It's so good, so great. Anyway, so yeah, and yeah, I just have fond memories of this movie. So at number 5, Elf, 2003. Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In fact, it's a Christmas movie big time. At number 4, Die Hard from 1988, starring Bruce Willis. The movie's a classic. It's what basically started so many different action films of this genre. Die Hard on a bus, Die Hard on a plane, Die Hard on a train. It was just ridiculous how many Die Hards came out after the fact. There weren't even Die Hard movies. And Bruce Willis was the type of hero that hadn't been seen quite before that. A wisecracking, non-muscular person with no shoes on. And the Christmas theme was tied all the way into it. And it just makes this a holiday classic all the way through. Die Hard is an amazing film, action film. And it just hits on all different levels. So yippee-ki-yay, number 4. All right, now here's where we have the gnashing of teeth and people throwing stuff at the screen and maybe even rioting. For this particular pick here at number 3, Home Alone, number 3. Now, let me say this. Home Alone is an absolutely fantastic movie. It's an even better Christmas movie. And when you have the entire inside of the house be green or red all the way throughout on every single scene by design, the director made this specifically a Christmas movie over the top by design. It's hard to argue that this isn't the greatest Christmas movie of all time. Well, it's so fine now and so narrow for these next two, you can probably imagine what they are. But what ended up probably knocking it down was probably the rank bonus and maybe the Christmas score in terms of the name, whatever it is. You can't go wrong with these first 3 films that are up here. Again, you can probably guess which ones they are. You probably just don't know which order they're in. But Home Alone is fantastic. Chris Columbus, it was just a movie that was just lightning in a bottle, made so much money, and it made kids feel empowered, to say the least. So Home Alone, fantastic movie, fantastic Christmas movie, great theme, the whole 9 through. I love this film. I watch it every single year. But to me, there's still 2 more that are slightly better. So here we go at number 2, A Christmas Story. This film to me hits on all cylinders from the very first scene all the way to the end. We have the parents looking out the window with the Christmas tree and the snow falling and the music going and the kids are up sleeping and him in this bed with his BB gun. This film is just so magical to me. And even though it's a series of sketch comedies all the way throughout, which by the way, everyone works, everyone hits, and all of them just show how badly this kid wants this BB gun. And it shows you how much the parents love him. The mom, when she covered for him, when he got into the fight. And also when the dad gave him the gift at the end after he thought all hope was lost. And to me, that is the special thing about this movie, because it's the dad and the son who you thought was kind of the stern person, hands off. But when it came down to it, he came through like a champ for his son. And that to me is magical, because that happened to me as a kid. My dad did the same thing for me. So it's personal. It's personal. So, but there's one more that's even better than this to me, and that's coming up right now. All right, so number one on the list for the number one Christmas movie that's theatrical or non-made for TV is It's a Wonderful Life, the film that's a classic. I watch it every single Christmas Eve without fail for the past 15 or 16 years, without fail. This movie gets me every single time, and the reason why it does is because it shows you that Mr. Bailey understands that most importantly to him is his family. No matter where he is, his family is the most important thing in life, and without that, he has nothing. And that is shown to him most at the time we all think of family the most, and that is Christmas. And It's a Wonderful Life is by far, to me, the greatest Christmas movie of all times. In fact, it's one of the greatest films of all time, regardless of seasonal or holidays or anything like that. This has been an incredibly long video. What do you think? What's your top 100 films of all time when it regards Christmas and in regards to not being in the theater? I'm curious to know. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what I got wrong. I know I got a ton of stuff wrong. There's so many films to go after, and to put them in an order that made sense is almost impossible. It's totally subjective. I tried to make it as objective as possible, but that's impossible. So I had a good time doing this. I hope you had a good time listening to this. I hope you got some ideas of what you can go watch for Christmas with your family. And I may do more of these lists too as I expound upon it. But let me know if you have any ideas of what list you'd like to see me do next. And with that, I will see everyone in the next video. And to you, I wish you and your families from the bottom of my heart a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.